This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
Welcome back, everyone, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. It's PokeBreak week, everyone. We haven't done one of these in a while, but I am one of your hosts this week, Professor Chris G, and on the other line with me is my Poke expert himself. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, my man, how are you doing?
I am doing great, and I'm excited to dive into some Pokemon Day content.
So am I, bro. And today, just like you saw in the title, we are going over this past week's PokeBreak Presents. Obviously, we couldn't get it out in real time, but we're getting it out now for you. And this is basically being recorded and sent out as soon as we can. So hopefully this will be in your ears within hours of us actually recording this. So, and we thank every single one of you for subscribing and hitting that little notification bell thingy, and so you know that our shows are out when they come out, because we see you every single time that we upload one of our shows. And just a little housekeeping real quick right before we get into anything. If you are listening to us on Spotify, we are also now on YouTube, and all of the episodes that we upload onto Spotify is automatically uploaded onto YouTube, so you can enjoy us from the comfort of your couch, or if you are on the go. And that's as much as I will say on that until the end of the show. Doug?
Yeah, so got a lot of things moving and shaking. I know you were working your butt off behind the scenes, making sure our content was ready to be put up on YouTube.
Yes.
Because we had kind of taken a step back, but just kind of the magic of the internet. You found out the other day we were kind of getting a little bit of traction kind of out of nowhere, and you really worked overtime to kind of make sure our stuff was updated. I mean, you uploaded a lot of our episodes that we hadn't put up, and
yes,
you know, I mean, I'm going to give you a virtual pat on the back because you went above and beyond getting some of that stuff ready.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yes, I wanted to make sure, because I started seeing interactions within our community on YouTube, and I wasn't replying, and I apologize for the people that were commenting on our videos, and I wasn't keeping track of it, because at first when we first started off, we didn't have that much traction on there, but the traction came once I got off of YouTube because the videos stayed up there. But it's nice to finally be back on there. Our interactions are going to be great. Just a key for everything, and from what I am gathering from YouTube, going forward, there's only going to basically be one playlist that we are going to be updating on a regular, and that's going to be the weekly podcast playlist that's on there, because that means everything that we are uploading onto Spotify is transitioning over to YouTube automatically. So it automatically makes a video, so I don't have to upload, which means that I'm not going to be separating the seasons. You'll be able to go into that one folder, skim down with whatever you want to listen to or hear, and you'll be able to click on those videos and be interacting. And if you do comment on any of our older videos, I will be able to see that. It's just those folders will not be getting updated going forward. So I just want to go ahead and preference that.
Everything is going to be streamlined.
Yes, just on one.
Nice.
And then also, starting today, we are back to giving out Pokemon codes for the TCG game. So I will be giving away, in drum roll, please, 10 codes today. 10.
Whoa,
10
whoa.
codes. You will be getting 10 codes today, and it will be intertwined between the Scarlet and Violet Prismatic Evolutions, and we will also be giving away the Surging Sparks. So we have 10 codes here that I will be interchanging that will be free to you, first come, first serve. So whether you are watching this on YouTube, or you're listening to this on Spotify, or you just happen to be a Patreon and you're listening to this, quite honestly, I'm just going to give you some food for thought. Our YouTube page does have subtitles, and hopefully the subtitles will interchange for the codes. But as I'm giving the codes out, you'll be able to look on YouTube and be able to see what the code is. So however you're going to take these codes down, it is first come, first serve. There is 10 codes. There's going to be 10 of you, or maybe one of you will get lucky and get 2 of them. I don't know. I don't really care who ends up getting these codes, but they will be out there. And as soon as you punch the code in, it's going to be invalid for anyone else. So that's just how it is. But we will be giving those codes out, and I will pause the podcast at some point in the middle as we're going through some of this Pokemon Presents. I will let you know that we're getting ready to do these codes, and I will just start reading them off for you, and you can punch them into your TCG game to get these Pokemon packs inside of your game. So, and these only work with Pokemon TCG Live, not the Pocket version. So I just want to preference that because Pocket has no affiliation at all with Live. So 2 different games. Doug?
Yeah, and I was wondering, and I should have maybe asked you this off air, but I was wondering if you would want to maybe put our oh Lord, I don't know how you would categorize it. Our friendship codes maybe in the description.
Yeah, for sure.
Of this episode.
Yeah, I can do that. So in the description of this episode, just remind me off air, bro, and I'll make sure that it's in there. I'll grab yours and I'll put mine in there as well. If you want to add us, I'm not sure what the limit is, everyone, but if you want to add us on Pokemon TCG Pocket, at the end of this podcast, we'll give out our friendship code in the description, and you'll be able to copy and paste and add us. Now, if you don't get added, like I said, I don't know. I don't have too many friends on the Pocket, so once it gets filled up, it's filled up, and that's going to be it. So, and I'll probably let someone know, or let you guys know on a future episode once it does get filled up, so you don't go try adding us anymore. So
I want to say it's either 99 or 100. I mean, don't quote me.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. So, all right, but Pokemon Presents, bro. Before we get into this, how has the last week been for you, my brother?
The last week.
Yes. Anything special happened besides this weather that we're having out here in the Midwest? I mean, not the Midwest. What do you call?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, we
You're
are.
right.
We are the Midwest. That we've been having up here in the Midwest, where it's almost 60 degrees one day, and then it's like today, it's 40 degrees and raining, and I don't know. It's just this weather is wild.
I don't know, man. It's just, I'm just living life. I realized probably too soon or too late after I started today that I probably should have got my boots back out of the closet, because I wasn't expecting to almost go up to my ankles in some puddles, which wasn't fun. Getting home, But, I mean, luckily I had a coat on, so I wasn't completely waterlogged, but, and I mean, it's supposed to be 50, but, the Wayne. That's good, Doug.
The Wayne.
The rain
the,
and
the Wayne, Doug.
The Wayne. Yeah. So,
Oh, that's funny.
the rain and the wind is supposed to pick up again tomorrow, so I mean, I guess you just got to kind of stay on your toes, really.
Yeah, same here. I'm just taking it day by day. We did get a great weekend this past weekend. I know this has nothing to do with the weather, but we did have something spectacular happen in the world of wrestling. We don't have to go over it word for word, but basically one of the biggest stars in the history of professional wrestling in WWE turned bad for the first time. And boy, nobody was expecting that. And I know this is Pokemon Podcast. Skip forward 5 minutes if you don't want to hear it. But boy, I was not expecting that, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, if anybody says they saw it coming, you're lying. I think I saw...
a YouTuber that I follow, she called it right before. She's like, okay, if Cody didn't sell his soul, she's like, somebody in this ring sold their soul. So who sold their soul? And then it was freaking Cena. And she called it right before it happened. And I was like, oh, okay. I watched her live feed.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of credit because we were kind of watching it. I mean, we were about as live as we could be over text.
Yeah.
And because we were kind of speculating on the order of things. And when we saw that, The Rock Cody was going to main event, my initial reaction was yuck. And then you're kind of sitting there and you're like, something's happening. And I'm like, okay, something's happening. And then, and we thought, Cody dropping the F-bomb was going to be the big thing. And then they're like, no. And then, and I want this on recorded record.
Okay.
Travis Scott had no reason to be in that ring. I don't care what you say.
He's gonna work on that. I mean, he should not have been, and The Rock made very clear that he was under the influence during the press conference.
Yeah.
Because he said he said he's like I got that contact high from him, and they were just laughing about it. But I guess today's age of wrestling is completely different than what it was in the past.
Oh yeah, I mean that's to say the least. I mean it's and you said it earlier. We were talking just off mic, and you're like, it's a good time to be a fan, and I feel like we've been able to say that for the past couple years. And I mean, it is fun. It's fun to watch a show and think you have the answers, and then at the end of the show realize you know absolutely nothing, but you're happy about it.
Yes. So I'm happy. Like I said, we're not going to spend too much time on this, but I just wanted to acknowledge it because everyone acknowledged it. And it's funny. It's really funny when WWE goes mainstream and you have news broadcasters in the middle of their broadcast just up and just start talking about professional wrestling and John Cena. So I want to praise WWE in everything that they're doing, because WWE, just like the UFC, they're doing the right thing. And whatever they're doing, it's going to keep going the way that it is, and they're going to have major success. And I have been waiting so damn long to look other people that didn't like wrestling in the face and go, see, this is one of the top sporting events that's going around outside of the Super Bowl, so nah.
I knew I hung around for a reason.
So it's nice, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So yeah. All right, bro. So Pokemon Presents, and we are going to go over this basically in the order that it happened in the video. Now, you on your end have notified me before we started that you have the video up on your end. I have some keynotes on my end, and this is going to be the order that we are going through. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on some of these, but until we get up to the major like blockbusters that came out of this presents. So Pokemon game series is going to be available in more languages. Then we have Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Sleep, Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Masters EX, Pokemon Go, an update to Pokemon Concierge, which I cannot wait to talk to you about, bro.
Super excited about that. I mean, I know we're going to take time, but when they announced more episodes, I was like, because I really enjoyed that.
So did I, bro. Let's see, the Pokemon trading card game. Then we got the TCG Pocket that we're going to be going over. An update to Scarlet and Violet. Let's see, Pokemon Champions. And then Pokemon Legends ZA, or as some have dubbed it, Pokemon Legends ZA. So that's going to be the order that we are going to go through this. So obviously starting off with some of the more gentle news that we've had. Pokemon game series is now going to be available and localized in Latin America, Spanish. I kind of feel like maybe I've been so far out of the bubble, but I thought the Pokemon game would have already have been dubbed or translated into Spanish. And even if it was, I guess they now have a studio over in Latin America, which is going to properly translate the Pokemon games into Latin Spanish, which is that is awesome, bro. And I don't know if that's just Pokemon taking a stand of like things, and we don't have to go into it, but that's the way I kind of saw it, as Pokemon is subliminally basically saying, hey, we don't have a problem of things that are personally going on in the world, and this is a way that we're going to show you. And they opened up a full-blown shop in Latin America, and their games are now going to be translated in Spanish properly over there. Like, that is awesome, bro.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like you. I was surprised this wasn't already a thing, but then I kind of, did a little bit more digging. Like, I replayed that segment of the video, and yeah, like you said, like they're gonna have a fully dedicated studio, so it's gonna sound more natural as opposed to just translating the English verbatim.
Yeah.
So it'll sound like it's more of a flow in a conversation. So that's gonna it's gonna be smoother. So,
and you know what I'm really hoping on this subject, bro, which will be very cool, and I can see Pokemon doing this, because when the Switch 2 does come out, they're going to integrate Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, Yellow. They're going to start porting all those over, because they've already started with the Switch 1. And I know damn well that they are going to monetize the mess out of these Pokemon games to get the most bang for their buck. And it wouldn't even surprise me in the next year or two, because next year is the 30-year anniversary of Pokemon, which is when I think we're getting a lot of these games ported over, that they port some of these games over. And not only do they port them over, but they have them translated in all these different languages that you could not get right off the bat. And you could play it no matter what country you're in, no matter what language you speak. That's what I was basically like kind of hearing from this announcement. And I really hope that comes to fruition next year for Pokemon Day, when the 30th anniversary rolls around.
Yeah, and they're already planning like some big, blowout stuff for that, so that's going to be cool. I didn't realize until I was watching the presentation last week that it was 29 years as it was. I was like, you want to feel old real quick? Watch this 20-minute video. I was like, oh. So there is that. Next on the list, and like I said, we're not going to spend too much time. Some of these we're going to spend more time than
than others, which is going to be for Pokemon Cafe. We're going to spend just as much time on this as they did in their video, but there is a Pokemon Cafe remix that they are sending out. I played this game once. It's not my cup of tea. I know it's not a lot of people's cup of tea.
I get it. Cafe.
Yes. I was hoping you would catch on to that.
That's fun.
But yeah, it's not my favorite game, but I do know that it's been around for quite a bit of time, and there are a lot of people that like these type of games. It says on here that they have new menu items. Appleton Fruitylicious Jelly Soda is being added to the game. I wish I knew what that was.
You know what an Appleton is.
Yes.
And that's about it. You know?
It says complete a special event in the game, and you can choose either Flapple or Appleton to join your staff. Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley will gradually become available in special outfit packs. And if you want to add a little Paldanian flavor to your cafe, they are the perfect Pokemon to be able to use. And it says, plus, if you log into the game now, Pikachu is in its Sweets outfit, will join your staff. Log in for 3 days, and you will also get an Eevee Sweets outfit.
So this is a mobile game, correct?
It is. It's mobile. I believe you can play it on the Nintendo Switch as well. It's a free to play game, and it's a Pokemon cooking game for those that like it.
Nice.
Next on the list is Pokemon Sleep. I played this game for the first 2 months that it was out, and then just stopped because, quite honestly, so I have a Pokemon Go Plus, and a way to play this game is with the Pokemon Go Plus. You put it in sleep mode, but you keep it in the bed with you, and it studies your sleep patterns. And then, depending on your sleep patterns throughout the night, you encounter specific Pokemon in the game, and you have a chance to feed them, and they can become a part of your party. So, in this game, they basically highlighted that you're going to face your nightmares, and they're going to have Cresselia and Darkrai clash in this upcoming event. Most likely, in some long event. I've been a part of one of these events, and they're pretty long. They're pretty hard. I was a part of it when they did the Raikou event, and that one took 7 days to do. And you could not miss any of those 7 days within this period of time, or you had to start over. And that's where I missed a day, and then I didn't miss a day, and I'm going to preference this. The game said I missed a day. I didn't. Miss it. The Pokemon Go Plus is not a great device. And I'm sure it's been updated, but for this game, when it first came out, I mainly use it for Pokemon Go. When it first came out, I would put it in sleep mode, but somehow it would end up saying that I woke up in the middle of the night, maybe around like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And once it said I woke up, it would not put itself back into sleep mode. So I would wake up and be like, oh man, I got such a good sleep. All right, let's log into my Pokemon game real quick before I leave for work so I can do my accomplishments. But I wouldn't get my full accomplishments because you needed at least between 6 to 8 hours of sleep continuously with the Pokemon Go Plus Plus in order to get certain achievements. And it basically logged me out saying that I was awake a couple nights in a row. So I kind of said, screw this game. There's nothing wrong with the people that are out there and that plays this game and it works for them. It did not work for me. I'm sure they fixed the bug, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that was playing it just like me and probably stayed on. But I got so frustrated because I would be on like night 4 or night 5, and you only had 2 weeks to get this Raikou because it was a 2-week event. And when it knocked me out for the second time, and I had no way of redoing it again in order to get this Raikou, I just gave up. I was like, screw it. And it sucks because I put real money into that game.
Right.
And I spent like $5-10. I think I was honestly on their monthly thing for the 2 months that I was playing the game. And yeah, until they figured out that bug, I was out, and I might give it another go round. But for right now, Pokemon Sleep is not. Excuse me. Is not a playable game in my mobile device at the moment.
So it's, pardon me, it's finicky, is what you're saying.
It is, and so was the Pokemon Go Plus device.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came down to it, because I mean, even outside of the game, like it links up to your Pokemon Go game, and like you can sleep with the device, and if you sleep with it for a certain amount of hours, it'll give you a certain amount of XP in the game of Pokemon Go, which was fantastic. I was like, oh, not only am I getting points in Pokemon Sleep, but I'm getting points in fucking Pokemon Go. Oh, excuse my language. In Pokemon Go, I was like, wow. So, yeah, it's, I stopped. My Pokemon Go Plus device has been dead for maybe 4 months now. I just haven't plugged it back up to charge it. I kind of fell out of Pokemon Go a little bit too. I have gotten back into it within the past 2 weeks. Have not charged my Pokemon Go Plus because I keep forgetting. But as soon as I get back into the swing of things, because one thing about the Pokemon Go Plus that I like, so you can't play the Pokemon Go while you're driving.
Right.
But if you have the Pokemon Go Plus, for some reason, it lags the game just enough that when you're passing by Pokemon Pokestops, it still spins it for you.
Oh, nice.
Even when you're doing 45 going down the road because of the lag between the device and the phone. So it would still spin it. So I was using it, and I guess you can call it cheating, but I don't call it cheating because it came straight from the Pokemon Company. I'm using a Pokemon Company device with a Pokemon Company game. And if it's allowing me to do something, then so be it. I spent money on this thing. So, I mean,
you're not,
I'm not breaking any rules.
No, you're not cheating. You're just using the constraints of the device to your advantage.
Exactly. So that's what that's how I use that Pokemon Go device. But all right, now, moving forward in the Pokemon Presents, bro, I actually really like this game. I think you would like it too. It's a strategy game called Pokemon Unite, and it is, you can use it on iOS, on Android, and on your Switch. And what it is it's a team game for collecting points using various Pokemon that you collect inside of the game to battle other people that are playing the game too, and defeating their Pokemon. And just basically, it's like what's a way? I guess you can call it kind of like a League of Legends, but for Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's kind of how I categorize the game, because the game is very, very similar to it. You have an objective, you know what the objective is, and in this it says be on the lookout for a Suicune, a Alolan Raichu, and Alchemy. And pretty soon that you'll be able to battle with these 3 Pokemon in the game, and I'm sure they're going to give them some type of specialty points that you'll be able to use if you're able to obtain these Pokemon to kind of give yourself a little bit more of an advantage in the game. It also says take part in the new type of Unite battle, first to 500, in which the first team to score 500 points will win. which it will be a shorter version of the game because the game, you score so many points in the game, and once you get up to those points, you win. But if you're looking for a quick in and out in the game, you want to play the game for about 5 minutes, 8 minutes. This new version is basically giving people, like, if you're on your lunch break and you just want to get 1 or 2 rounds in, you'll have enough time to get those rounds in before you have to go back and clock in from your lunch. And I mean, it's really cool. And I fell out of the game because, I mean, one, it is repetitive, but two, I ran into the fact where I did not want to put real money into the game. And unless you're really putting real money into this game, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, no, I don't put money into this game and I still win. And I'm sure there's many cases of that. But people that do put money into the game, you do get cared for a lot more. You get better characters. It's easier for you to win, and it's easier for you to knock out other Pokemon during the time frame of this game. So I didn't want to do that. So I didn't really, it wasn't really the game for me, but it 1000% is a very fun game. Have you had any experience with Pokemon Unite, Doug, or have watched anyone maybe online playing that game?
No, and I feel kind of bad because I remember asking you about it the last time it was featured in one of these Pokemon Day, whatever, YouTube videos, and I think you pretty much gave me the same explanation, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out, and then it was completely gone as soon as we hung up.
So that was their Pokemon Unite update on the Pokemon Presents. Next, they went into Pokemon Masters EX, another game that I did play around with for quite a bit. It's a game that you can pick up. I started playing this game maybe 2 years into it being out, and was able to jump straight into the game. You don't miss out on anything, and you basically go on these little challenges. You fight these bosses in the game. It's a strategy game where you have to complete these tasks in order to advance further in the game. And it does get repetitive. It's another mobile game that you can play on iOS or on your Android phone. And I did fall out of this game again. It looks like they are on 5.5 years of celebrating this game. And they're bringing over May in the game with her shiny Primal Kyogre, and Brendan, a champion, and bringing over with him a shiny Primal Groudon. And if you log into the game as of we're 5 days removed from Pokemon Presents as of this recording, but if you log into the game now, within the next week of us dropping this, they are giving you a free 3,000 gems to go with this game. So, and those gems are used in their shop, and you can buy things. It's nice. It's really nice. Like I said, they're 5.5 years. They'll be towards the end of this year. They'll be on their 6-year run of this game. So I know they're going to do something big for their 6th year. So be on the lookout for that. But that was their update for Pokemon Masters EX. This next one for Pokemon Go, we're not going to spend too much time on this because as of this recording, today is the last day for the special that they have going on. So I'll just they started on March 1st. Their Pokemon Go tour for Unova, and where you can get all of the Unova Pokemon. Oshawott, Snivy, and Tepig, that generation of Pokemon in the game, and you'll be able to get the arrival of Kubfu and Urshifu for the first time in the game, which, that means as of this recording, I need to open this game up, and hopefully hopefully I'll be able to get one of these Pokemon before the time limit is up. Next on the list is Pokemon Concierge. And if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, you would know back in our feed about a year ago, or maybe a little less than a year ago, me and you, Doug, we covered the first season of Pokemon Concierge, which is a stop motion Pokemon show, which it's a really nice and settling Pokemon show. Do you want to kind of go over part of this part, Doug?
Yeah. So, I remember really enjoying it. Saying I remember like it was 5 years ago. I really enjoyed reviewing the episodes. Like you said, it was nothing offensive. I thought it was like beautifully like put together. And I hadn't really thought about it because I was like, I would have to go back and look at our dates to see when we covered it. But it hadn't really crossed my mind until this came up that they were getting close to another season. It says September 25. So, we'll see when that actually is. I'm looking forward to covering it.
You and me both, bro. Like I'm really excited to go over this show again, and the fact that they're going to continue it basically exactly where they left off, and we get to see the main character's advancement. Let me see. Do they have anything? It says on the Pokemon presser, it says the stop motion animated Netflix series has been nominated for multiple awards, and the second season is currently in production. Take a peek at some of the Pokemon we'll meet in early motion test footage, and look forward to the further adventure of Haru and Psyduck and the tropical Pokemon resort. It says that this is slated to come out September of this year. And in the meantime, the first 4 episodes of the series is now for free on their YouTube channel for a limited time.
And I am trying to scrub really quick, because obviously take a look at some of the test footage. That's referencing, because they did put up some very early animation. And I thought I made note of it, because I recognized the Pokemon they were showing off.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you right this very second how many Pokemon they put in the test footage, but I am thoroughly excited, and the fact that they put it on their YouTube page, they're trying to gather as much audience as they can for this.
Yeah, and the announcement says what, the first 4 episodes?
Yes,
and there was what?
I think
it wasn't
8.
A lot, 6 or 8. Yeah,
I think there was 8 episodes. I would have to go back and find out.
Let's see. Yeah, they show off in the footage. They show off an Arcanine and either a Plusle or a Minnow, maybe. They show a little bit of footage from the first season. It's just really cute. Like I say, looking forward to talking about it. We'll have to see when they actually drop the episodes in terms of when we can fit it into our coverage, but I think at most it might take a couple weeks to get through, depending on how many we do per shot and how many episodes they drop. So, stay tuned for that, because I definitely kind of want to push that forward in the queue if it doesn't interrupt anything major.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, for sure, bro. It's not going to interrupt anything, at least on our end, because when it comes down to this show, if there's an update to anything old that we have done, or any of the shorts that we have done, like I really hope they bring back the Pokemon Chronicles, because I really, really enjoyed watching those, because that was like just it's really fresh when they give you content like that. But I think they're swinging more towards the Pokemon Horizons that we've been covering to kind of scratch that itch for us. And that, in a way, I'm gonna say that's probably where we're gonna get that itch scratched, because Pokemon Horizons, nothing against the original series, but they took a step forward in Horizons to the fact of where, like, their battles are more like in your face, and they're like hitting you with these Pokemon are just bam, 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 bam. It's almost like TV-14 Pokemon that we've been wanting our whole life, and it's so nice to see. Let's see. Next on the list, we're going to go over the Pokemon trading card game at Pocket. For Pokemon TCG Live, you will now be able to have Mega Lucario in the game. They said that there's going to be a new gameplay strategy to come along with it, so they didn't really go too much further than that. It says that you'll be able to play with that at some point later on this year. And then in TCG Pocket, which me and you both play, Doug, it says a new theme booster pack, Triumphant Light, will arrive in the TCG Pocket on February 28, 2025. So it's already been here for about 5 days. And there will be a couple in-game events. Look for the return of Genetic Apex expansions with booster packs that are guaranteed to include at least one of the 4 diamond rarity or higher cards. So basically that's going to be in your gifts folder. I believe they gave out 3 of them, if I'm remembering correctly, Doug. And you got some rare card pulls out of that. It says there are also special missions that you can complete to earn rewards. And if you're ready to get serious and show off your battle skills, you can look forward to ranked matches arriving towards the end of this month, March. So, Doug, I think I've pretty much talked about how I like this game. We haven't really dove too much into it, like on your end. Would you like to kind of give your experience with TCG Pocket and what you like about this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that doesn't have to take up like a bulk of your day. Like, you know, you come on once or twice a day, you rip a couple packs, you make sure to get your daily reward from the shop. Maybe open a wonder pack if there's something free, or you've got some currency to burn. Without getting into specifics, because as far as I know, they don't have like a recent pulls tab, so I can't really go back. But I think I did pretty well on the 3 gift packs that they gave out for the anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's an endorphin hit, because, like, especially when I first got into it, because you're like, no, it's like the cards from when we were kids. So, like, I pulled just an example off the top of my head that sticks with me. I pulled a Charmander card, and I know I had that exact card.
Oh,
so
nice.
So that was kind of cool. And the first original Pikachu as well. I'm pretty sure I had this card.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you did. You're talking about the fat Pikachu. Yep. And
so I was like, that's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, that's pretty cool, and some of the holographics are really nice. And
have you gotten any of the cards where you actually get to dive into the card?
I got one of those. I think it's a Mewtwo.
Nice, and it's really cool the way that they did that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. And like, you know, you pull a shiny, and it's like, oh, that's, you know, and you get the little star rating in the bottom corner, and it's a nice there's a nice sensation to actually ripping the pack like physically taking your finger and doing that.
Yes, it is. I love it.
So
My favorite, my way, like, I mean, and I know it doesn't matter how you rip it, but how I try to rip it is I try to take my finger and rip it down to get that nice, like, crease going down the pack, but sometimes I don't hit it, and I'll do down, and it'll act like I ripped it up, and I'll be like, I didn't rip it up, I ripped it down. But and they actually give you like if you there's 3 different ways that you can rip the packs, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but you don't have to slide your finger straight across. You can do it up, and it'll give you a nice, like, rip going up. If you slide your finger from the middle down, it'll give you a nice rip going down the pack. And, like, there's different animations for it. So try that out if you haven't noticed that.
Did not know that. I'm going to try that next time I go on to rip my cup, because what I've tried to do recently is I try to build up where I have 2 available, and then
gotcha.
I pretty much just kind of keep track and make sure, because I don't want to miss a day, because I mean you don't really miss anything, but you go on for a couple minutes, you rip a couple packs, and you're out unless you get a hit, and then you're like, oh
yeah, ooh. And I know you haven't done it. Well, at least I don't think you have. I can't speak on it. But I know, like me, I've put $10 into this game. Total. Since it came out.
Right.
$10. That's it. But, I know the urge to actually rip more packs than normal in this game is wild, because when I'm playing and I only can open up 2 packs, and I'm like, man, I want to open up more. Like, that's where they get you, and then they're like, oh, well, you can spend a little bit of real money and you can open up 10 packs. We'll give you 10 packs. Here you go. And then, like, 80% of the packs are cards that you've already had, but they'll give you that nice little 20% out of it, and they're like, we'll sprinkle in some new cards that you don't already have. And I'm just like, you suckers. I was like, I'm a sucker for paying money in this game. But have you put in real money into that game, Doug?
I have not, and I don't see myself doing that.
Okay,
I'm
good,
because I feel like once you start, you can. Once you do it once, you can justify doing it again, and then it becomes a habit. You're like, then you become a whale. Okay, so I was mistaken. It's not a Mewtwo. And you're going to have to help me. It's a Palkia EX.
Oh, Palkia.
Palkia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you got that one. I got that one too the other day. So nice, bro. Nice. I got that one, and I was lucky enough in the pack right after it, I got Dialga.
Oh
yeah, I ended up pulling both of those back to back. So I was like, oh my luck. I was like, they're trying to get me to spend money. I was like, I see you, Pokemon Company. I see what you're doing. But
yeah, like I've got a Mewtwo shiny. I've got an Aerodactyl. I mean, I've got some pretty decent ones.
Nice.
I've got a Machamp.
And when we were speaking off air, and I said that the next time we get together, we can trade some cards. Bro, I found out we don't even need to be next to each other to trade. Since we're friends in the game, I can send you a request. You accept that request. I put in a card. You put in a card. And then at some point when we initiate the exchange, it just automatically does it. We could be laying in bed just freaking trading Pokemon cards, bro.
Oh, nice. Well, then I'll have to take a closer look, because I know you were saying, well, do you have duplicates? And I said, boy, do I have duplicates.
I think we all do.
Like, I'm sitting here right now, just kind of scrolling through, and I can see I have 4 Zapdoses that I've got no use, other than having one of them.
Oh, well, maybe update your flair with the card.
But isn't that just kind of throwing away resources just to make it a little extra shiny? Like,
yeah, and I updated the flair, I think, on a stupid Bellsprout, because I had like 20 of the cards, but just to see what would happen. But if I'm not mistaken, it's not just me, but I follow this guy on YouTube called Austin John Plays. Shout out to him. Love your content, bro. He he plays this game religiously, along with all the other Pokemon games. And he made a video and he was like, well, in the Pokemon TCG Pocket, they made this so complicated as to how to get rid of certain cards, because I think we can actually get rid of duplicates to gain extra points. Don't quote me on it, but I think that is a thing in the game, and I'm gonna have to look it up, because I think if you discard some of your duplicates, it actually gives you certain points that go towards other things that you can use in the game. But the algorithm is so kind of messed up right now. Like, their stuff is kind of all over the place, and he even agreed to it. So he said that they kind of need to update their game to make it more user friendly. So like maybe someone like my son or my daughter, if they get into the game, they would understand. So I do think that that's a fix that they need to do, and I think they've acknowledged that their stuff is kind of all over the place, and I think a major update is coming pretty soon, but I guess we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say sometimes it's frustrating when you open a pack and you get back-to-back duplicates. It's like, what am I mean, you said you've opened a pack and gotten the same card.
Bro, when I tell you, and I don't know if this was a glitch or not, I have literally opened up a pack and 3 out of my 5 cards were the frickin' same. Oh my gosh, how heartbroken I was. I was like, I waited this long for this? I was like, I wanted to throw my phone.
You should get a reward for that, honestly.
You should. But
like, you should, at the very least, you should get like an achievement or something.
And I have yet, and I've completed a few of these packs with the cards. I have yet to open a God pack. Are you aware of what a God pack is, Doug?
I am not.
So a God pack is you open up a pack of Pokemon cards, and all 5 of your cards are like the rarest of the rare cards.
Ooh.
And it's very rare to get it, but when you get it, screenshot that mess, because it's very, very rare. And I see these people on freaking YouTube, and they've opened up a couple God packs. I was like, how have I completed a couple of these cards and I have yet to open a God pack yet? I was like, come on, game. But I'm sure I'm saying this now. They're going to give me one God pack and be like, here, you might have a chance to get more. Spend some money. Spend some money.
You like this feeling, don't you? Like, you can spend money and have another shot at it.
So, all right, but talking about Pokemon trading cards, it's no better time than now. I'm now going to give away 5 of these codes that you can use inside of your Pokemon TCG live game. So these are 5 packs. I'm going to start with the Surging Sparks. Yes. So the codes are as follows. K949NG. I'm so sorry. Restart this, everyone. I went ahead. K949N6G7YP69H. That is your first pack. Second pack. K9CLL4QMR7M. Third pack. K9QJB6X K2L2D2. Fourth, KBGDCPH 9PNVWK. Last pack for your Surging Sparks is KBGF R J C W H K L K M R M. And those are your 5 Surging Sparks cards. Now to go over to the most recent batch of cards, which is Scarlet and Violet Prismatic Evolutions. Here are your 5 codes, everyone. 7BCQ7 Y9VJ6KDY. Next, 7BKJYGPDLDKHY. Next, 7C2K. I'm restarting that one, everyone. Saying all these letters, you get a little tongue-tied, so bear with me.
Yeah.
7C2PXN9T2QP2B. Fourth, 7CVRQTDXZQJP2. Fifth one and last code for the day is 7CZRPDCKWLCMY. And that is the most codes that we have given out in one show, everyone. One show. I just gave you 10 codes for your Pokemon TCG games. It's first come, first serve. I'm sorry for a little bit of the stuttering in the middle of it, but saying some of these codes, you get a little tongue-tied when you're going through the letters. But there you go. Doug, we did it. We gave out 10 codes.
Yay!
All right, now let's get into the hunkiness, the big stories coming out of Pokemon Day. Well, I mean, this next one's not as big. The next one after it is. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet update. You now can get a mystery gift with a password that is on their website. And then it also says that you can prepare for mass outbreaks of red, green, and blue colored Pokemon with an increased likelihood of encountering a shiny.
Hey, all right.
And then it says over the next few weeks, we will see Terra Ray battles of Mighty Muscarada, Skeledirge, and Quaquaval. And they will all be in the Terra Ray battles. And don't quote me. I'm not sure if you can keep these Pokemon because I know some of these, you can battle them, but when you capture them, you can't keep them. I'm sure you'll be able to keep these. Maybe after you battle them the first time, and then you'll just get points afterwards. I'm sure that's how they're going to do it. But let's get into the meatiness, Doug. The meaty of the meat. Pokemon Champions, the new fucking. I know I said we were going to monetize this. We can still monetize it. Whatever. It's a few slip ups, but a new freaking Pokemon game that is coming out that is very similar to Pokemon Stadium, but we get to use all up-to-date Pokemon and Pokemon that you have from your games. This game is going to slap because it is for both the mobile and the Switch, bro.
Looks exciting. Anything that lets me battle with an updated roster, I mean, that's a huge plus. I know the original Pokemon Stadium. Did they do 2 of them?
Yes, they did.
I know they had integration with the Game Boy games, so that was kind of cool. Seeing like Pokemon that you spent all these hours, going up and down the roads with, and putting them in a head-up stadium battle was pretty cool. So, it'll be interesting to see the integration between, whether there's some, because I assume, and I know assumption is dangerous, but I assume because there's a phone port I would assume there's some integration between this and the trading cards. Obviously, your Switch game should be able.
I don't think it's the trading cards, but I think it's any Pokemon that you have at home. I know for a fact they're not going to put all of them in there, like at the jump. They're going to sprinkle in what Pokemon you can use, but I believe
it would be overpowered.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to keep the game stable, especially the day that it comes out. And you don't want the game to come out broken.
Like I don't want to boot up and then immediately I'm going up against somebody with a Mewtwo and a Blastoise and somebody that's been grinding the Pokemon trading card pocket since it's been out.
Yeah,
and it's got all the cards,
So with that, I'm excited, and with it being on mobile, Doug. Do you think that when this game comes out, if I do remind you, is this a game that you might like download just to kind of see what it is at first?
More than likely, yeah. I'm definitely willing to give it a go. I mean,
I'm just interested. I know it's going to be like 2v2 battles. That's kind of the vibe I got out of the trailer that they had, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, the fact that you can be down one Pokemon and then maybe you come back and you defeat the other two Pokemon, the flex that you'll have, bro, to win.
Imagine the trash talk.
That's another thing. Are they going to allow, because I know Nintendo's very, very like skeptical on like online talk because of the toxicity, but I wonder, do you think that they allow people that's playing the Pokemon game, like, can you imagine an adult talking to a child and just being like, I just owned you. I owned you. And, like,
and the kid's response is, all right, I'm going to go back to my home. 30-year-old weirdo.
Right. So I am so excited for this game, and the fact that I will be able to play it both on my mobile and on my Switch, and I can't wait. Like, I'm sure this game will have like updated graphics on the Switch too, depending on when it comes out. And if I'm able to play this game on the Switch too, and like on my 4K TV, and it's just like, it's so bright and the colors just match, and like to be able to compete in some tournaments, and who knows, maybe you'll see Professor Chris G in one of these tournaments if my Pokemon are good enough. But we'll see. I'm sure they're gonna integrate this.
They didn't have a drop date.
No, they did not.
So could this be something that they're holding back? I wouldn't think they would be holding it back specifically for the Switch 2.
No. At least I hope not. My thought is it will probably be out maybe this summer.
Yeah.
Is what I'm guessing. Or maybe this spring. Late spring, early summer is when I'm guessing this game will end up coming out. But they do have some more Pokemon games coming out later this year, which is going to be our main topic that we're getting ready to go over before we close out this podcast. Pokemon Legends ZA is now slated for late 2025, and they made sure in the video to tell you that this game is slated for late this year, and that you will have to wait a little bit longer to play this game and to be able to enjoy it. But boy, oh boy, was I interested, bro, when they said that the battling scheme is going to be different, and it's basically you're going to be in an open playing field in the game, and you can control your Pokemon. So say your opponent's about to do an attack, you can control your Pokemon to dodge that attack.
Yeah.
That's awesome, but I'm also scared because Pokemon's never done this.
No.
I'm scared that it's going to break the game or make the game a little choppy when these battle schemes are going on. What was your thought about Pokemon ZA, the announcement and everything, and certain things that you saw, specifically the new battle?
I'm a big fan of the open worldness of it. Like actually being able to walk around, the city, and the graphics look pretty slick. You're running around with a Tepig and a Chikorita, and a Totodile is the water starter.
Yes.
And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if while you're battling, if you can use the environment to your advantage, because if that's the case, I could see a lot of like spamming attacks. And because it said, manipulate your style, depending on where you are versus where your opponent is. So like, for certain attacks, you want to make sure you're in a certain range. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trial and error early. I mean, people are probably sitting there going, "No, duh, Doug, it's a new Pokemon game." But I think you're going to get some players that are going to get really good to the point where they're like winning these battles without even like thinking about it. But just kind of looking around and like seeing how humans and Pokemon are interacting in this trailer, and it looks like you've got like different times a day, and you've got a whole cast of characters you're going to meet. And I mean, if you would have shown this to me as I'm sitting there with Pokemon Ruby in my Game Boy, I'd be like, get out of here, because like, I mean, this is pretty slick.
Yeah, it is. And the fact that they decided to go with two Gen 2 Pokemon in this and then throw Tepig in, I thought was a little weird. I thought you could have did 3 different generations for the starters of Pokemon, but it's the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company always does things weird. When you think they're going to go right, they go left or straight. So
yeah, so if you're sitting there and you really like Cyndaquil, you're like, all right, Totodile, Chikorita, Tepig.
Yeah.
Like, what am I,
So I did think that was pretty weird, but I'm excited. Like, this game, they're introducing Mega Evolution. They hinted at the Battle Tower in the game too, so we might be getting the start of the Battle Tower. They said the city is just being built. There's going to be different areas where the Pokemon actually don't come out. Like, the Pokemon are behind like an invisible fence where they're secluding these Pokemon in these 8 areas. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how they integrate and how they do things in this game. Hopefully I'm just looking at the map that they had in the trailer. It doesn't look big, but once you're in the game and you're actually running around, I'm sure it is pretty big, and it's a pretty big town. But the fact that I can sit here and say in Arceus, in Pokemon Legends Arceus, or Arceus, I don't think anyone knows how to say it, because I've seen YouTubers saying it. It's one of the two. I don't know. You have such an open world in that game. So I'm hoping that they kind of scratched everything out and left like the vastness, and then just kind of made like a town out of the entire layout of the first game, is what I'm hoping.
Well, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, unless they were like continuously bumping their head against the ceiling. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to go backward.
Correct, yeah.
So, especially with another console generation on the horizon. I mean, I understand, they've made it perfectly clear that the Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. So I think we're a few years away from seeing Switch 2 exclusives.
Correct, yes.
But
because people like mom and dads and grandmas are still buying the Switch 1 for kids. So, right. I mean, as soon as Switch 2 comes out, I'm sure those sales are going to go down, and it's just going to be a boost of Switch 2 stuff. But I mean, we'll have to wait. But with as popular as Switch 1 was, which changed the entire business of Nintendo for how they sell their game. Bro, did you know, still to this day, Mario Kart 8 is still the top grossing game for the Nintendo Switch of all time, and that it's still selling copies right now.
Yeah, I think I saw something, and I mean, don't quote me because I just skimmed past it. I think they said if you did a survey of like 10 random Switch owners, I think they said something like 6 or 7 were going to have Mario Kart 8 on there.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the game. Again, we still have a long ways. I'm sure we're going to have some more updates come out pretty soon. But for right now, that's all of the updates that we got. We got the starters. I do know some YouTubers out there have data mined into all the Pokemon that are going to be in the game. I haven't dove that far into it, nor do I really want to, because I'm one of, and don't, like, hear me out here. Like, sometimes I will jump the gun and want to know certain things, but when it comes to like my hardcore games, the games that I love that come out every year or every 2 years, I want to be surprised. If I'm going to spend, and I'm guessing this game is for both copies is going to be like $140, like 70 a piece. If I'm going to buy a double pack, I don't want to know anything really about this game other than what is in that trailer. So,
sure.
I will not be watching spoilers of what Pokemon are in the game. I want to be surprised. I want to turn on the game, and I want to be able to just play it and have fun. The data mines for other games, I can care less. I'll go online and I'll look. But when it comes to like Pokemon or Final Fantasy or like any games that I like play on Diablo, like any games that I play like kind of hardcore-ish, I don't want to know. And
sure.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go out of my way to spoil that for myself. So,
well, like, to kind of piggyback off your point, like you're talking about, you know, you want to be surprised. I mean, it's different. Like, I was just scrolling through and I saw that 2K is going to announce the DLC list for 25 tomorrow. Like, I'm probably going to look at that.
Okay.
Because I want to know, you know, like I've already pre-ordered the Deadman edition. I'm not going $140. I think that's a little crazy. So I'm going to get the season pass, but I want to know who I'm getting. Because I've got a handful of people that I'm kind of hoping are in. And, you know, I mean, I know I'm not going to get everybody on my wish list, but if I can get a decent chunk, I think I'll be satisfied.
Of
you
course,
know, so like stuff like that I want to know.
Of course.
You know, but
and you have the right
yeah. But yeah, you don't want to like be like, all right, as soon as I turn on this game, I got to go to this town and I got to talk to this trainer to get this Pokemon.
Yes.
Like, no, something like that. I want to find that out organically.
So that's kind of where we're going to leave this, everyone. That has been your Pokemon Presents that came out 5 days ago as of this recording. Hopefully I can get out this podcast as soon as I can. But yeah, that's it. It was a very like good. Some kind of said underwhelming. I didn't see that. I saw this as Pokemon Company is telling you the stuff that you need to know for right now. But at the same time, next year is their 30th anniversary. They're not going to give you everything on their 29th year. So
no, they're gonna blow it out for the 30.
Oh yeah, and we'll be here to cover it in the podcast. So just wait, just be patient. You have a couple games coming out this year. You have Pokemon Champions coming out. You have Pokemon Legends ZA coming out this year. You have some great games to get you by until the next Gen 10. Gen 10 is coming out next year on their 30th, bro. They literally waited. They're waiting 2 years to bring out the next gen, which is unheard of in Pokemon. So when they bring this out, this game better not be broken for nothing. That's all I got.
It's going to be crazy.
So, anything else that you want to add, Doug, before we start closing out today's podcast?
No. I'm a fan of these kind of lesser structured episodes where we can just kind of talk about some news that's happened. A lot to be excited about in the rundown. Like I said, going to be really keeping an eye on the next season of Concierge. Anybody that's subscribed to this show, you'll be first to know when stuff goes up because, like I say, I'm going to push that to the front of the queue.
Absolutely.
So yeah, a lot to look forward to in 2025 in the world of Pokemon.
So, and that is it, everyone. So, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So, if you are listening to us on anything other than YouTube or Spotify, please go on YouTube or Spotify and hit that subscribe button. They are the ones that are keeping everything alive here on the podcast. Yes, you do get some ads on there, but the ads help pay for everything that we have going on over here on the podcast. But if you want to listen to our podcast ad-free, you do have that option by going over to our Patreon at patreon.com/everypokemon. And for as low of a price as $5, you will get most of our shows ad-free. And then if you go up to the $10 mark, you will get all of those shows plus our movies and specials on that tier, and everything will be ad-free for you. So go ahead and go and subscribe. And if you have just a little bit more, we do have a $15 tier. You will have to take a look at the rules for this one, but you can also become a guest on our show. So go ahead and make sure you read the description of the $15 tier. And then if not, you can go ahead and subscribe to the $5 or $10 tier, whichever one is best for you. And those are your options for getting us ad-free. We want to thank you again, everyone, for subscribing and listening to our show and continuing to come here every single week. You have kept us within the top 10 of the Pokemon podcasts that are out there, and we thoroughly thank you for all of that. So I just want to go ahead and say that, Doug. I know this has been a very good podcast, so if you want, go ahead and say your goodbye, Doug, before we head off into the sunset for the night.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Professor Chris G telling all of you we will be back next week with another Johto rundown with the next 2 episodes for you. So be on the lookout for that. And I might have to do a little scrubbing on that because we recorded that podcast before we recorded this one. So if you hear some things about us talking about us getting ready to do this podcast, which I think we did in that podcast, that is why. But outside of that, we will see you again next week. Have a good night.